Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I will be showing off my Groot mock as well as my Mantis and Rocket Racoon minifigures that I have based on Marvel Rivals. I'm going to show you guys how to build Groot as well as how to make Rocket and Mantis as well. So let's start off with Mantis. She is actually one of the last figures I designed, and the only reason I did put her off for so long is because I didn't know if I wanted to go the unpurest route of doing the gauntlets on her arms, and I originally was not going to include her in any sort of showcase, but then I started playing her and she's now kind of become my main. She's just so fun to play as. So I'm going to show you guys how I made her now. So the leg piece, the skirt piece, is from the Lego movie CMF Series 2, which has this singer, and in that set she has this really nice green cape piece. The arms are a lime green, and then these gauntlets are actually these handcuff pieces, but with the cuff part taken cut out of them. So as you can see here, these are just the regular handcuff pieces, but I chopped the end off. You can use nail clippers, you can use scissors, you can use anything. I think for this I used a scalpel that I had from college just lying around. And then her headpiece, her hairpiece, is just a regular Mantis. I know it's not the most accessible piece, but I think it's in more sets now than it was before. I can't think of any piece that I would use if I didn't have this one, because her antennas are kind of more curled, and then in the MCU they just go straight up, but in the game they're kind of they're a different shape, and I wish I could capture that, but I just don't have the pieces for that. And then the headpiece is from the Lego Seinfeld set, which I don't actually think of that set anymore. I cannot believe we got that set. I've just forgotten about it. I think it has a nice cute face. I was gonna do one of the old faces without the pupils in the eyes, but it just looks kind of weird, so I decided not to do that. The torso is from the CMF Centaur from a few years ago. I think it's really good. It has that nice kind of natural kind of feel to it, and she has a belt made out of vines in the game, which is really cool. I think that kind of captures it with the curls and all, and also the leaf in the middle. It's not 100% accurate, but it's green, she has a brown belt, she has a leaf, she's kind of natural, organic. That's what her powers are based off. I think that works really well. And then for the legs, I'm not gonna lie, the legs are the same as Iron Fists. They're these dark green with brown boots. I think these are really simple, but I think the skirt covers most of them, so I think once you get a good skirt piece, the legs don't really matter as much as the rest of them. So the issue with my design for this Rocket Raccoon minifigure is that based on how I built the jetpack, he cannot be standing, as well as having that tail piece curled down. The tail piece couldn't have went up because the backpack, the jetpack would have been in the way, because in the game he has a jetpack and I had to include that, but just for this you kind of have to have him on this translucent stand. It's not the biggest issue in the game because he can fly, he can float, and he has his jetpack in the game, so I don't think it's the biggest problem ever, but I wish there was some way where I could just have him stand normally, because usually he's just running around and he's incredibly hard to kill. For the headpiece, I used this newer one from the Milano and from Rocket's Guardianship. In the old ones from Avengers Endgame, they gave him goggles on his forehead, but he hasn't got goggles in game. I was thinking of doing a brick built head, but I think it would look a little bit cursed, because I wanted to include the mohawk, but there's no brown mohawk pieces that would work. If you guys have an idea, let me think of it in the comments. The arms are from Cyborg, because they kind of give him that technology feel, and then I gave him orange hands as well, because he does wear orange gloves in the game. Let me take off his gun now, which I'll show you the gun is built in a second. But the torso is actually Thor's from Love and Thunder, swapped around. It has the kind of tactical vest look that I really like. And then the arms, of course, as I said, are Cyborgs. I just gave him orange hands and then some plain blue legs. So the jetpack is built like this. It's just one of these translucent neck bracket pieces with these 1x1s with a bar, and then I added these blue cylinders with the studs with holes in them, and then some tiny little flames, because I think the big ones looked a bit weird. They're more flumey, but I think these are kind of I don't know, just they're on standby or whatever. So for the gun is really simple. It's literally just one of these kind of camera pieces, but flipped upside down, because he holds it the way he carries it, it's like a machine gun. And then I just put loads of these silver studs, and then another one of these. These pieces are so great. I love these pieces. Another one of these on top, and that connects by a bracket, because there's no studs on this side. Well, there is an anti-stud, but I don't think the anti-stud looks as nice. And then I gave him just these 1x3 red pieces, because his gun is red. So then that clips onto his hand like this. And then you can have him like this, because he does shoot like this, but then if you want to, I think this looks super cool when he has both hands like this and he's kind of turning and he's using the gun and he's shooting it. Then we have the Groot mock, which I was putting off for ages because I don't really like building brick-built characters, but when I do, I think I'm really happy with it. This guy looks a little bit weird. I had a few people commenting saying that he's looks a little bit off, but I'm happy with how I did it. He was really hard to build. The headpiece was definitely the worst part, and I had a lot of people say oh, just use the Groot headpiece. But if you look at the headpiece, I'm just gonna grab a random minifigure head for comparison. That is like way too small to be putting on top of that. When you look at Groot in game, I know the head might be a little bit too big, but I was gonna do 3 studs wide instead of 2 studs, because 2 studs can look a little bit weird. If you guys remember my Fantastic Four, The Thing, a lot of people said that looked kind of weird. And although I liked it, I kind of see where they're coming from just a little bit, because there's not much you can really do like with the gap there. And I think the Thing looks like weird, but I like him. I'm not going to listen to what anyone else says. So I'm going to show you guys how to build this now, or kind of a breakdown of how I built it, and how you guys can make your own Groot. So here's the torso for Groot. As you can see, I actually used this ball piece so that I could make like his waist kind of smaller than his chest. I used these like curved pieces to create his chest, and these fold over, so his chest is 4 wide, but his like waist is 2 wide, and I don't think that looks too bad considering the transition I made for it. Now his head attaches by a clip, which means that he hasn't got much articulation in it, but that's all I could do. So I use a jumper plate to attach this up, then I use another clip and a jumper plate, and this clip sits here on that jumper plate so that the clip sticks out just a tiny bit, and then I put a tile here, and then that's how his chest is done. So you guys can kind of see that there, and then this bridges onto this. If you see here, if I pop this like tile off, you guys can see that this was originally going to be rotatable, so he could like turn his hips and all, but in the end I didn't like him being able to like kind of snap back like this without being able to push forward, because it looked a little bit weird if you got rid of this. Like you have there's just this empty ball joint in the middle of him, which I didn't really like, so I just kept it like this. And then this is a bit too weak, so I ended up just putting a 1x3 brown tile, and then you can put these chest pieces over, and these are just like some random tiles I put so that you could see like the kind of growth or the weirdness of his like natural tree body. The arms are really simple. I just got these regular connector pieces and then a green leaf. I made sure that it was lime green, because in the game he has these kind of like organic orbs of like life in his shoulders. He's got really like big leafy shoulder pads, and then I added one of these brackets with pieces with studs on them and put them there. So this would be his right arm, and then for the hand I just used this piece, which I love this piece. It looks like fingers, big kind of like organic weird fingers, and these clip onto the end, and then this is his arm here. And then if you look at the torso, this just snaps on right here, and I kind of like the way that the leaf covers up the gray bracket a bit. Unfortunately the light gray one here is kind of more exposed, but I don't mind it too much, and you can do that on both sides. So these are the arms on the Groot that I have. So these are his arms. And then for the legs are always really tricky for me. I don't know why, I just cannot build Lego legs. And for the back I got this kind of like brown bracket piece, which is unnecessary, but I kind of like using it, so I clipped onto there. And then I got the 1x2, and then just some like weird kind of Groot toes. And then the legs are even simpler than the arms. The legs are just this. But because I used these clips, I had these hinges, I had to put a clip on the end here, so these just snap on like that. And then the bottom here can be adjusted, so if you move the hips like this, you can adjust the bottom as well, so you won't be kind of standing over wonkily. And then if I put this on here, you have both legs now standing like this, so you can kind of fit it out like this. You can be having a wide stance, or you can have him standing up a bit taller. But I think this looks a little bit weird because he's not usually standing up super straight unless he's waiting to be healed. The headpiece was the part that I spent the most amount of time on, and that's because there was no way for me to create like a natural connection between this body and the top. I was going to do a regular like stud, but I thought maybe not, because you'd be able to move back and forth, but then like you'd have to have a stud in the middle, and I thought that'd be kind of weird because he has a kind of a thick neck. So in order to create a more like a better connection to that, I ended up going with this. So this is like the back of his head. This would be kind of the back and then the side of his head. So these are the horns that he has. He kind of has like these weird like branches coming out of the back of his head. And if you attach this clip onto here, right, this is gonna look a bit weird, but this is what it looks like. This is what the attachment looks like. And then for this part here, I made his bottom jaw. So this is the bottom half of his jaw, and this will clip onto this bar here. So it looks a bit weird now, but when I think it's put together, it looks a bit better. So this is the bottom of his jaw, and it is articulate. He can look up and down. And then this piece here is what attaches to the anti-studs on the piece that I just showed you guys. And these are his eyes. So the eyes here, I have a bracket, and some like these, this could be so random. These are just random details I put onto his head. And this can clip on. If you see, I'm gonna match this with here. If I bend this backwards, and this just clips onto there. So he has a bit of an overbite, just a tiny overbite there. But if you close it over like that, that's what he looks like. And then this is just the back of his head, because if you look Groot in the game, he has like, his head kind of, I don't know, takes off at the back. It's a little bit weird, but this clips on here. And if I move the camera up a bit, you can see there, this is how the head is attached. And if I turn it around, you can see it's all on that one clip there. And it is like it's not symmetrical at the back, but I don't think it needs to be, because like it's not super noticeable, but I think having that half stud there is like perfect. So remember earlier on in the torso I showed you how I moved the clip up with a jumper plate? I use a jumper plate to attach this up, then I use another clip and a jumper plate, and I think that really helps, like it not being too high up, because I tried it and if this head is like too high up, like it just looks really weird. He has like a super long neck, and also the head can't move that far down anyway, because if you look here, this clip here pushes against the clip here, the jumper plate here, so you can't even move it even further. So it's not like you would get any more articulation from it, and it's not like you would even get any kind of like benefits. So he would just have a taller head and just be a bit weird. Also, you couldn't move it down, of course, because he wouldn't have any like jaw articulation. So now at the moment, if you want to, you can look up and you can like kind of gasp like this, which I don't think looks great because you can see the inner workings of his jaw and all, but I think he just looks fine like this. He has a mouth open. I wish there was a way you could make a mouth fully closed, but by the way I was building it, I'm not 100% sure. And I was kind of looking at other Groot mocks for like inspiration or techniques online, and most of them do not have like a natural face build at this scale. Most of them use pre-existing parts, and although they all look amazing, I would much rather build from scratch, you know? I think kind of using these pre-existing parts mean that like the body is all brick built, and then you have the head which is just like printed on. I think that's just a little, it looks a little bit weird, and also it means that like you restrict yourself from, not everyone is going to have the Groot figure, and a lot of people that have the Groot figure are just fine using the Groot minifigure. That's fine, but for me I thought it'd be more fun to create the actual brick build of Groot and then have him like pairing up with Mantis, even though it's out of scale, like. But when you think about it, like, look at the Lego Overwatch sets, like, this was Diva's mech. This is horrendously out of scale, but it looks good, you know? And I think Groot is way taller than some of the other characters. Maybe not this tall. I think he's to scale with Groot, I think he's to scale with Rocket, because Rocket is tiny in the game, and he's so annoying, like, to try and attack or hit or try to heal or anything. So I think he's to scale with Rocket, and when you put Rocket on his shoulder, which I'm going to show you guys how to do now, so he has these anti-studs in the back, and if you get a snot brick, I'm gonna try focus now. If you get a snot brick like here, and then these superhero poser pieces, you can clip this onto the back right here, and this will mean there's a stud, let me zoom out again, sticking out for Rocket to attach onto, and you can put him here. Usually you need to move the gun out of his hand so that he holds it like this on in his left hand, and he kind of like just sprays it everywhere, and he's looking forward. You can spread out the rockets if you want to, the rockets on the back, and then he clips onto here. And if you put his hand down, I think that looks really good. Like, it looks like he's kind of peeping over his shoulder, because that's a team ability in game. And I also have to do the same with Jeff, but I took apart my Jeff. I'm sorry guys. Jeff's no longer with us. Anyway, Mantis can go here. She can heal your Groot, or your Rocket can heal the Groot, and you guys can just like, I think that looks really good, like having Rocket on Groot's shoulder, and this is what it looks like from the back. I think that looks fine. Like it doesn't even look that bad. Even if you want to, these pieces also come in like a nougat color. So the superhero poser pieces also come in nougat, and if you want to use them, like if you were concerned about how your characters are going to look from the back, that works as well, you know. But for me, I'm not as concerned as from the front, and I think those pieces in nougat are super useful. And I have so many of these in transparent that I think it's just worth using the transparent ones while I can. Just to like save the nougat ones, because I think the nougat ones look really nice. They're super good for buildings and plants, so I'm going to preserve my nougat ones for now. Anyways guys, that was it for the video. I really hope you enjoyed. I'm going to try and finish all the Marvel Rivals characters, because just to be able to say that I made every single Lego Marvel Rivals character would be insane. Anyway, I made them all except for 6. There's 6 left, and if you guys want to see me finish the 6, let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Your support means the world, and I hope to continue kind of making a YouTube video every Saturday. I'm starting college again next week, so that'll take up a lot of my time, but I really want to stay dedicated to this as well. You know, this is productive, and I'm kind of rambling now, so I'm gonna let you guys go now. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.